Welcome to Leading Experts. I'm your host, Patty Grabeau. Do you want to buy or sell a home or investment property, but have been unable to do so using the traditional methods? Today, you'll be wowed by the ingenuity of our guest concerning the non-traditional, creative options available when we come back on Leading Experts.
Welcome to this edition of Leading Experts. Leading Experts is informative and exciting. Leading Experts interviews authors, speakers, and entrepreneurs in all areas of business, so you become a much more informed consumer.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Patty Grabeau. Joining us today is real estate investor Lee Miller, president and founder of Win-Win Innovations. Lee graduated from Brigham Young University, Idaho, with a degree in marketing. Shortly thereafter, at the age of 26, he purchased his first home in San Diego. After turning the property into a bachelor pad and renting out the rooms to 8 guys who paid all of his bills, he decided to pursue real estate as a career. For the past 9 years, Lee, as he has said, has played the game and has transacted millions of dollars worth of deals. Many of these properties that he bought or sold did not involve banks and were made outside the traditional scope of real estate transactions. Quite impressive. Oh my goodness, that's really something. Let's talk about the name of your business, Win-Win Innovations. How did you come up with that?
Well, it's very simple. When I do real estate, I want to make sure that everyone wins. There's opportunities to help everyone, and Win-Win Innovations, our mission is to make sure that every single transaction we do is a benefit or a win to every single party involved in that transaction. If I'm going to do a deal that one person might not benefit, I won't do the deal because that's not a win for everybody.
So total satisfaction across the board.
That is correct.
What makes you unique?
Well, Win-Win Innovations, our goal is to be problem solvers. Basically, we find a problem, find a need, and then connect the person with the solution or the answer, connect them with the company to help them solve their needs creatively.
What do you want people to know about you and your group?
Well, we are creative problem solvers, basically, meaning if someone had tried to do real estate using the traditional methods and they failed, whether it was to buy or to sell the home using the traditional method, they can come to Win-Win Innovations for a creative, outside-the-box way to handle the situation that they were working on.
Oh, that's really, really interesting. But are you a licensed real estate agent?
I'm not. I'm not a real estate agent. I am a real estate investor.
Okay, and what's the difference between a real estate agent and an investor?
Well, first of all, a real estate agent can certainly be an investor, or vice versa, an investor can be a real estate agent. The difference is really real estate agents primarily focus on traditional methods of buying and selling houses, meaning the person has to go through the bank and they have to either go through the bank to get a new mortgage or they come in with all cash to pay for the deal. As a real estate investor, we've got access to all the creative sources that don't involve banks, that don't involve the traditional methods. So if a person's been turned down by the bank either to buy or they just can't sell their house through the real estate agent, then as an investor I can come in and offer new solutions. And you know, I use real estate agents when I want to buy or sell property through traditional methods. But on the flip side, many of the properties that I've bought were actually listed with real estate agents and they were unable to sell them traditionally, and that's why I was able to buy them creatively. Well,
I'll tell you, in this market, I think that's a great tool for people. It really sounds very intriguing. And creative real estate, can you give us some examples of how you use creative real estate?
Sure, absolutely. Creative real estate can really be anything that is worked out between the buyer and the seller that is outside the traditional or normal scope. Some examples, maybe get a property under contract and then assign the contract to someone else, or buy a property using the seller's existing financing, leaving that in place. Doing what's called a rent-to-own, or using owner financing. These are all just some examples of creative financing that allow someone to either sell or buy a house even without going through the banks.
What is rent-to-own?
Rent-to-own is basically a program that allows a person to start off as a renter. They take on the benefits as if they're owning it. They are in charge of fixing it up, doing the repairs, maintaining the property. while they're in the position of cleaning up their credit. So basically, they're acting like an owner while they're renting, and they've got a certain time frame in which they can clean up their credit and come in with a new loan down the road.
That's a wonderful option.
Yeah, absolutely.
That really is a wonderful, warm, fuzzy option for people today. And who is your client?
My client would be anyone that is interested in buying or selling real estate and open to creativity or thinking outside the box to find a solution that, you know, maybe is outside of the norm.
Okay, and then there are foreclosures everywhere right now. I mean, how do you help people in the foreclosure situation with your creative marketing?
You know, it's a very good thing. We take each case on a case-by-case basis and take more of a consulting approach. If the homeowner is able to maintain the monthly payments, but they're not able to make up the amount that's in arrears, then let's say a homeowner's $20,000 behind on their payments. If they're in a position of making the payments, I can show them a way that they could earn $20,000 worth of income
really
in a relatively short time so they could stop the foreclosure and save their house. If that option doesn't work and all of the other options don't pan out, then I could actually come in and buy their house and close relatively quickly. In fact, I bought one house that the auction was a week away, and I was able to come in and buy the house from the homeowner and save his credit from getting the foreclosure on the record.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That is wonderful you were able to do that. And that saves people's self-esteem and, like you said, their credit record. It's a phenomenal option.
Yeah, everything, you know, your credit score can always, bouncing back from the lates, that's easy. But the foreclosure on a person's record, that can actually scar their record for 10 years or longer. And so, you know, as a last case resort, if the person's going to lose their house, at least they can save their dignity and be able to buy a house, down the road.
That's a real good example of your name, Win-Win Innovation.
Absolutely.
It really is, bringing it all together. And what about houses that are upside down, those with no equity or need major repairs? How can you work with them?
Well, as a real estate investor, we do everything creatively, and there's actually solutions for every single one of those options for the investor that knows what they're doing. So there really isn't a house that we can't buy. You know, if the bank says there's no possible way I'll lend on that house, there's no possible way that you can get the money to fix it up or it's upside down. As an investor, I know the creative ways to go around the banks and save the homeowner or offer what they need.
Where did you learn all this? Where did you learn all this creativity?
Well, after I had my tenants after my roommates were paying for all my bills, I knew I wanted to get into this, and over the years, I've actually spent over $50,000 on my real estate education, several hundred hours worth of seminars, training, audio, video, all of that sort of thing, and just been learning as time goes on.
You have a free report to share with our viewers. Can you please tell us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. The free report is called The Shocking Truth That the Real Estate Gurus Don't Want You to Know, which basically, as I said, I spent over $50,000 on my education. I know of people who've spent over $100,000 on their real estate education before they bought a single property.
And what's the website?
The website is realestatewin-win.com.
We'll be back and talk about that in a minute. Stay tuned. We'll have more with Lee Miller, president and founder of Win-Win Innovations, when we come back. Welcome back. Joining us today is real estate expert Lee Miller, president and founder of Win-Win Innovations, sharing with us creative solutions for real estate challenges in today's market. The shocking truth that real estate gurus don't want you to know. Can you give us one tip from that report?
Yeah, absolutely. Real estate investing is a team sport. You need to be able to associate with like-minded investors, have a community of support, people you can bounce ideas off of. And, most of the gurus, a lot of the gurus out there just say, buy my education and you'll be a real estate investor. Bottom line is, without the support network, without having a community out there, it is very, very difficult for a person to actually learn how to be a real estate investor.
Okay, and all those tips are in the free report that you're offering the viewers.
That is correct.
That's very cool. Very cool.
It's actually all the things that I learned, as well as other investors, what to avoid, what to stay away from. It's basically shortcutting it so everyone else doesn't have to spend $55,000 and several hundred hours to learn what I've learned.
A learning curve.
Exactly.
You're giving them your learning curve.
Exactly.
That's great. What about the banking meltdown? How has that affected your business?
You know, there's two sides to every coin, and a lot of businesses are really struggling by the banking meltdown. But for the savvy investor, now is actually the best time, or the banking meltdown hasn't affected us, because I don't actually use the banks on most of the deals. So I work with private lenders and get them to fund the deals for me. They earn a higher interest rate, and everyone ends up happy.
Wow. Well, what about interest rates? They are rather volatile. I mean, how about the interest rates for the private investors? How is all that affected?
I pay my private investors anywhere from 3 to 7 times bank CD rates.
Wow.
It's fixed by or it's fixed on the property. It's secured by the real estate, and they have the protection of the insurance as well.
Sounds like a very good thing to be a private lender. And who can become a private lender?
Anyone who's got extra money can become a private lender of any amount. Basically, anyone who's tired of losing money in the stock market, or who's tired of getting really low rates of return on their money and want their money to grow for them, anyone can do that. A great example of private lending is anyone who's got money in a 401k or a retirement plan, whether it's old or current. We can show them how they can roll that money into a self-directed retirement plan, invest in real estate, and have all of their proceeds get the same tax advantages as a regular retirement plan.
Okay, and taxes. What about taxes?
Well, taxes is going to be the number one expense or number one thing that affects real estate, or affects any investment for that matter. And there are actually investment strategies out there where a person can get all of their money to grow, income tax or tax deferred, or with the right vehicle, tax free. Most people don't realize this, but there's actually an investment vehicle out there, or self-directed retirement plan, where a person can have 100% of their proceeds grow tax-free and invest in real estate while getting that better rate of return.
That's pretty incredible. And so they're totally protected.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not going to say there's not risk. There's risk in any investment. But this risk, I mean, as an investor, when I buy something, I buy at a deep enough discount so there's still plenty of equity in the property. In case the market still goes down, the lender's money is protected because of that discount. And, you know, it does have the property insurance that can protect their money against fire or things of that nature. And, of course, you know, their money is secured by the property. So, you know, it's all protected with the property.
Trust is really something that's very key with people. In such a market, the way it is right now, how do people know that they can trust you?
You know, it's a very good question. There are real estate investors out there that, you know, just grab whatever they can. But, you know, the whole name of my business, Win-Win Innovations, I'm not going to do anything that is not going to be a positive for everyone. That includes the money lender, that includes the homeowner that I'm working with on the house. Everyone's got to be able to benefit or get a win for them in order for us to move forward.
And you have a whole team of people that you work with.
This is a team sport, and so I don't have to be the expert on everything. I just connect people to the experts in whatever field they're looking for, yes.
And we've talked about trust, and we've talked about investment protection, and that is so key for people right now. I mean, how do they know their money is being protected?
Excellent question. Very important. A couple things. First of all, as an investor, we always buy at a deep enough discount to where there's still plenty of equity in the property, so even if the market does continue to go down, the investor's money is safe. Second thing is that the investor is going to get a deed of trust or a mortgage that connects them to the property, and they're also going to get the insurance and the title that proves they've got a clean title on the property. So the private lender actually has all the same precautions, all the same safety measures in place that the traditional banks use when they lend money on properties. The other thing is the fact that because the lender is, or the money is secured against the property,
right,
if I default on the property or one of my other investors, they can actually take the property back, resell it, and get their money back that way. So it minimizes the risk for the private lender.
So that is another win-win.
Absolutely, yes.
So they can feel totally safe and secure.
Absolutely.
Now, you have a free lenders packet that you're offering our viewers. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, the free lenders packet, a lot of people, this is their first time to consider real estate as an investment vehicle. So the free lenders packet is kind of a questionnaire. It gives them more details, the interest rates, how we lend, how their money's secured. Basically, it's the feel-good packet, so to speak, of what a person would need to consider in choosing whether investing in real estate is the right decision for them and not, and just kind of answers all of their questions.
I love this because oftentimes, not oftentimes, more often than not, people think that real estate investors are just wealthy people. It's not, it can't just be me who really knows nothing about it. So you're giving us some really terrific tools to show that anyone can go into the market at any time.
Absolutely. There's no minimum, there's no maximum. I actually have a friend who bought a house with $1,000 out of his retirement account, and he's positive cash flowing every month. All goes back into his retirement account tax-free, and he bought the house for $1,000 out of pocket.
And $1,000, and his whole life has changed.
Oh, absolutely. He's actually making several $100s per month positive cash flow off of this property that his retirement account bought with $1,000 out of the retirement account.
And how can someone get a hold of one of the free lenders packets?
By going to my website, they can actually get the free lenders packet and find out all about it. And all they have to do is go to realestatewin-win.com, and they can get that free packet.
Great tools. Hold your thoughts. Stay tuned as Leading Experts. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Leading Experts. I'm Patty Grabeau. If you're just joining us, my guest today is a creative real estate investor, Lee Miller. Now, Lee, for people who want to get started investing now, is it a good time in today's economy?
You know what? Today is the best time to get started, but actually I can't even say it as good as one of my mentors. What I'd like to do is just play a quick clip from one of my mentors. His name is Chris Wilson. He's an instructor with Nouveau Riche.
Terrific. Let's bring it up.
You know, real estate's really simple. Most people make it too complex. You buy low, you sell high. When do you buy low? When the economy's tanking. When do you sell high? Any other time. So in a market like today, the economy's tanking, there's hundreds of deals out there. People need to realize we're buying houses today for prices that we haven't paid since 1998 to 2000. If you can buy them at rates that are 10 years old, you can make money. How much money? How long do you want to hold on? How much money do you need? It's a great market. More millionaires, true real estate millionaires, will be born in the next 18 to 24 months than at any other time in my lifetime, and probably any other time that I will ever see again or my kids will see again.
I can't believe what he said. 18 to 24 months, more real estate millionaires will be born. That's amazing.
Yeah, it actually, a lot of this, but more millionaires were created during the Great Depression per capita than any other time in the history of our country, and we're facing similar type of circumstances now.
Well, it's all thinking outside the box, isn't it?
Absolutely, yes.
Creatively and doing things in a non-traditional manner, but applying some of the traditional elements as well, like you're doing.
Absolutely.
Now, what about people with no money and bad credit due to the economic turndown? Can they become investors?
Absolutely. That is the best aspect of this. When I first got started several years ago, I had been unemployed for 10 months. I had no source of income, no source of savings, and a credit score of about 500. Not exactly the ideal real estate investor.
Not really, no.
Yeah. But I went out there and actually purchased over $2 million worth of real estate within a very short time frame without a single dime out of my pocket or a credit check.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. But having the right education costs money, and you learned on your own. What do you say to the person who would like to become a real estate investor but doesn't have the money to get educated at all?
That clip that you just saw there from Nouveau Riche, I saw Nouveau Riche and realized that it was something different from everything else that I'd already spent money on and invested into. And so when I saw that, I knew I had to pay for it, or I knew I had to go, but I was already broke from all the other companies that I had tried to learn from. So the bottom line is there's always a way that someone can pay for the education if they want it bad enough. I had to ask 4 or 5 people and keep asking and persisting until I found someone to lend me the money to go to Nouveau Riche. I went through their education, and it was within 60 days after leaving the Nouveau Riche real estate education that I purchased over $2 million worth of real estate without any money.
What a program, and what ingenuity you have to be so forthright in wanting to take this program. That is really something. Through your experience, what have you found that are some of the strategies that work best in this kind of a down market?
Well, I like to refer to it similar to the law of supply and demand, except I refer to it as problems and opportunities. The greater the problem, the greater the opportunity, the greater the chance to make a huge amount of money by solving people's problems.
Very interesting. And how could someone learn how to profit from these strategies that are in the biggest demand in today's market?
Well, the biggest things going on right now is people are upside down on their houses. They're about to lose the house to foreclosure, or the banks have too much inventory and they don't want properties. So that's where the problems are at. If someone learns how to capitalize on those problems, there's a tremendous amount of income they can make. And actually, Nouveau Riche specializes in teaching people how to handle those, how to turn those problems into opportunities. And in fact, they have a workshop called an investor forum that will teach people how to do, how to buy those types of properties.
So they can attend these forums and learn.
That's correct. And actually, if you go to the Nouveau Riche website, you'll see that they normally charge $199 to attend the investor forum, but due to my relationship with them, due to what I've created through them, I can actually get a person in for free to attend Nouveau Riche's investor forum with no money out of pocket.
So they should get in touch with you through your website.
Absolutely.
In order to take advantage of this.
Absolutely.
Now, you've talked about Nouveau Riche a lot. Now, why is this?
Very good question. I could either recreate the will and spend hundreds of millions of dollars to recreate it and on lots of time, or I could simply refer people to what's worked. Nouveau Riche has had the greatest impact on my real estate education. I've bought far more deals and had much greater success after attending them than with all the rest of the programs that I've been through. And so rather than try and recreate something, I just find what works and steer people in the direction of what's worked for me.
And how do you want people to truly see you and your company?
Well, basically, we're the problem solvers. Whenever they cannot do something traditionally through real estate, whether it's buy or sell property, they've been turned down by the banks, it's not happening, that they can come think of win-win innovations as a solution outside of the norm, a creative way to meet their real estate needs, whatever they might be.
Now, do you have any special stories that you could share?
Oh, I've got hundreds, but one story that I'll share in particular, have a friend that just recently, a couple months ago, was helping a family that was losing their house to foreclosure. And he basically bought it within 40 days, or bought it and flipped it to someone else, and made $40,000 profit in about a 63-day window.
That's huge.
Exactly. Got another friend of mine who basically knocked $75,000 off of their taxes as a result of investing in real estate and all of the tax advantages that go along with investing in real estate.
Because of the tax advantages, they could literally just take off $75,000.
Yep.
And you have all these stories that happen all the time.
These are people that I've personally met. You know, I've seen people that have bought properties. I've seen people that were on the verge of homelessness that have been able to buy properties and turn them for profit.
It's a real blessing. That's really, really wonderful. And we've talked about people who don't have the education and people who don't have the money and people who have don't have the wealth. But what about the people who do have money and are already investing? How can you work with them?
Well, no matter how much they've done, how much they know, there's always room to take their game to the next level. Most investors have specialized in a couple strategies, but they don't know everything that's available to them. And so one new strategy could raise their net worth, could raise their potential. But not only that, I mean, you know, if they've got money sitting in the bank and it's not earning them the rates of return, or the stock market and they're losing money, anyone can use their money and either invest it as a private lender or use it to invest for themselves and enjoy these types of benefits.
Now, we started off. You have several different lenders package that people can obtain on your website. And what's in that lenders package again?
The lenders package basically gives people the information they need to consider in using their money to fund real estate deals. Talks about the interest rate, how is the property secured, answers the questions that a new person would have in terms of investing in real estate. Not only that, but we'll actually show them how or where to go to get their money into a self-directed retirement plan so they can have absolutely zero taxes due on the gains that they make on that.
Well, and your website